Hello again, YouTube. This is a master lock key safe. Now it's a quite an old model. It's been on the market a while. It's basically a 4-digit key safe. You set your 4 digits here, and you put those in and use this little lever. I've semi-disassembled this already. I did a previous video. I recorded a previous video on one of my other channels, and what I'll probably do is at the end of this video I'll just tag the original video on, and I'll show you how that shows you how easy it is and how much of a vulnerability there is in these locks. And this one here, this is one I've taken off my neighbour's house. They don't need it anymore, and I'm basically going to take it to bits. It's one I gave them in the first place. It's actually that this is the one, I think this is the one that was in the original video, so it's quite a few years old now. I don't have a use for it. As you'll see from the vulnerabilities in it, I don't trust them. I wouldn't put one on my house. I wouldn't use it to, to store a key that was securing my valuables. I'm not saying don't buy them, because there are uses for them. They do serve a purpose. They are at a certain price point, so they're pretty cheap, and they can be quite useful. But what I would say is, if you are going to use one, think about what you're putting inside it, think about what it's given access to, but more importantly, think about where you're going to install it. A lot of people install these round the back or the side of a building, somewhere it's dark and secluded, thinking that that'll make it safer. It doesn't. It makes it more vulnerable, because if you put it in a place where someone's got lots of time and privacy to work away at it, they can pick these in no time. So if you're going to install one, install it somewhere prominent, somewhere well lit or with a security light, and somewhere that your neighbours can see it, so that if someone does decide that they're going to have a go at it, that at least there's a chance that someone will spot them. So like I say, this one's already partially disassembled. I'm not going to install this because I've already demonstrated how easy they are to get into. I've taken 2 screws out here, and I've already taken the latch mechanism out. This goes in here, and this is the bit that locks it. There's a spring goes in the back, and there's a pin goes through. I could reassemble it, but I'm not going to do that. I don't need it. I don't want it. So what they've done here is they've assembled this and then pushed 2 pins in, one either side, and you can't get to them without actually going in through the case. So it looks like this is going to be a destructive opening. In fact, I can see it as there's no other way to get into the back of these. So what I'm going to do is cut these lugs off here if I can, and that'll hopefully release the pins. Easier said than done. There you go. Just getting that second pin to release. The pins have got a little toothing on one side, so when they push that in, it goes in and it binds itself into the cast. It effectively taps its own fixing point, and that holds it in, and there's no way to get that out again without actually opening up the mechanism. The mechanism itself's got a cast rivet here, so again that's going to have to be destructively opened. Okay, so it's quite a nice little mechanism. They work quite well, but as you'll see in the video at the end, they're vulnerable to attack. The way I opened it in the video that you see at the end, I just used a light and I was able to see the tumbler inside. I think this is a slightly newer version than the one in the video. I'm not 100% sure this is the one that I opened, because you can't see as easily. Now it might be the light I'm using, but you can feel, if you use this, you can feel the cams, so you can feel the point where the as the cam rotates, you can feel where the lock is. When I won't bother demonstrating how that's done, but as I open this up, you'll see how that works. So see if we can get this just by snapping those rivets. Okay, I think that might be a job for the Dremel, so I'm just going to pause again and I'll Dremel these off, see if that opens it up. Aha, there we go. Right. Okay, so there's a spring on the back of the case there. That spring just puts tension on this mechanism here, this cam lever. Then you've got a set of springs here. These look like probably they're either copper or bimetal, or in fact they're not copper. They've got a slight copper colouring to them. It's probably just spring. It'll be spring steel, but I don't know why it's that colour. All it's doing is putting tension. It's the detent springs for the dials, so that when you get to the number, it stops. This is the lever that when you push it down, it releases the cam. So let's see, what does that act on? That acts on this. When you push that, it pivots. So let's have a look. This would normally sit. Yeah, okay. And when you push this, it pivots. It pivots this whole mechanism down, and that opens the lock. So let's have a look at, see if we can work out what actually opens it, what stops it from opening. So this large plate here, that normally stops it from opening. And what stops that? So this here, okay, that pushes this, and these two little pins here are located in these lugs here. So this plate has to be allowed to move. There's the detent off, that's better. This plate has to be allowed to move to let the lock release. So let's see if we can get this off. Okay, so it looks like there's tension here, and then you've got tension at the top, and what stops it from releasing is flat points on this cam. This lever at the end, this is the reset lever. We'll take that off, we'll come back to that. That's basically what you use to change the code. So that's the cam gear. Nice little detent spring at the end to hold that out. I guess this spring holds the whole thing together. Okay, so there we are. You have the actual locking pieces. This is what basically makes the thing work. You can see there's a D shape on there, and whenever that D shape, the flat section has to line up with this to let that move. If it's round here at all, it stops it. but when it's on the flat section it lets it spring in. And all 4 of these, there's one for each wheel, all 4 of them has to be in the flat section. The original version of this, version of this lock, these little gears, I don't know what you would call them actually, they're cams I suppose, they were metal and they were shiny, and when you shone a light in you could see them, and you didn't need any tools to hack this at all. You just put a light in it and you could actually see when they were flat, and then once they were all lined up with the front, you turned them 5 spaces, so it turned it from flat at the front to flat at the back, and then this plate could come forward and do its job. The way the reset works is on each of these cams you've got some little teeth. Might be difficult to see this. Okay, some light on here. So there are some little teeth all the way around, and they lock into the teeth on here, and that's, as you rotate this, it rotates the cam. Now what happens is, this is all assembled and there's a bit of tension on it. When you use this reset lever, the reset lever sits like this normally. When you've got when you've got everything set up and you push the reset lever across, it basically releases all the gears. Sorry, it releases the cams from the tumblers. So effectively, you see there's a little knurled piece here. It pushes this whole bar over, and when you push the bar over, these are locked in by the shape of the case. When you push the bar over, the cams become free of the gear of the tumbler, and then when you've finished setting the code, you release the lever, it all springs back into place. The little teeth engage with the tumbler and your number's set, and that's basically how it's done. So that's it in normal operation, and when the rod's pushed over, that's it in code set mode, so you can rotate the tumbler without rotating the cam. You put the lever back, the tension falls back in, and the cam's then locked into the tumbler, and that's how you change the code. So that's why this code's very easy. This lock's very easy to shim. So you use something like this. This is a piece of nickel strip. It's like the nickel strip you weld batteries together, you spot weld batteries together, and you basically put the shim in. So when you put it in from the front and you put the shim down through, you have to get past this little ridge here. You have to get the shim past that, but once you're past that, you can then feel the cam, and as you rotate the cam, you can feel the high spots and low spots, and that's how you work out the code using the shim. It's quite good that they've changed this to black plastic, because the previous versions, as I say, were very easy to see the cam inside there, and it wasn't terribly secure at all. And that's all that's inside it. This is a piece of steel. It looks as if it's coated, as if it's chromed. I'm guessing that's maybe just to help with water ingress. The little gears themselves, so the cams are plastic, the gears themselves some sort of powdered metal. I'm guessing that would make it easier to produce them, because it means that the numbers are cast in rather than having to be etched on later, and it makes it more water resistant. But that's pretty much it. So you can see why they're vulnerable. The vulnerability is in these little cams, and when you've got the tumblers lined up on the front, there is a bit of spring tension on them, holds them to one side, but as you can see, there's certainly enough room to get a shim in there. And with the shim, they have made an attempt with this little ridge to stop you shimming it, but it's not enough of an attempt, to be honest. You can get a shim past there reasonably easily. So if you are going to install one of these, just have a think about what you're going to do with it. One thing I would always, if people ask about security, like I used to do alarms, and I would give people a price for an alarm system, and work out what they wanted it to do and whether they wanted it to dial somewhere, or how many rooms they want protected, what type of protection they want, wired or wireless, and I would give them a price, and almost invariably people would try and haggle over the price and try and reduce the cost. And what I would say, the same as this, as I would give, as I would say to people with an alarm system, you need to consider what you're protecting. So what are you using this 30 quid keysafe to protect? So you're going to put a set of keys in it. What are those keys then going to give someone access to? If it's going to give them access to your house or your car or something equally as valuable, then does spending 30 quid on security really justify the effort? Same with an alarm. Are you going to spend 200 quid on a very basic alarm that's going to make a ringing noise, or are you going to spend 700 or 800 quid on an alarm that protects every area in your house, that will phone you or phone someone if if there's an activation, and it's got more protection? So it's very much about what you want to do with it. So that's why I'm not saying don't buy these. Definitely buy them if you've got an appropriate use for them, and what's appropriate, it's up to you. What you need to bear in mind though is that if you put keys in one of these, and those keys give access to something very expensive, and you're then expecting your insurer to pay out if the thing gets stolen, your insurer might argue about appropriate use of something like this. So just bear that in mind. But it is a nice little unit. You certainly can't open them up, so they're not designed to be opened and tinkered with. This is now just for recycling, because you saw how destructive the process was to get into it, but you also saw how easy it is to get access to the cams and to work out the code. So I wouldn't put one on my house. I'd maybe put one outside, to give access to my shed, but then why would you want to put shed keys in it? Just keep your shed keys on your house and just have your keys to your house on your person. But that's it. So if you like this video, please press like and subscribe. At the end of this video, I'll leave I'll copy in the original video. Now I have to warn you that the original video is a few years old now. It was made on this bench underneath my green mat here. I've got a black, a melamine worktop, and the video's quite noisy because it was skidding about in the worktop. Quite a number of people complained about that in the comments, but I thought I would tag it on just so you can see how the original version, how easy it was to do, to open it without any tools at all. All you had to have was a light. But thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video. This is a video response to Bummer 101 Master Keysafe gutted. This is a Master Keysafe 5401D. It's the same mechanism as the one Bummer 101 uses, but it's in a wall mounted case style. The 5400 is the style used by Bummer 101, but essentially this part here, the mechanism is exactly the same. This one here I've set to 4 zeros. That's the default combination. As you can see inside, you've got the same, exactly the same mechanism. So you've got your levers that spring down, reset lever here, and the cam that goes here, and the roller mechanisms in here. Everything else is the same except the case. This one's got a little bit of scratching on the case, you can see here. Basically, before I worked out how to open it up, I was trying to reach the reset mechanism with a piece of wire. Obviously that wouldn't have worked anyway, but I didn't know how to get into it, so I was trying anything. But I worked out what to do with this one. So we're at 4 zeros, and if I switch on the reset, set a random number, okay, switch off the reset. Now what I need to do is close this up. Okay, and randomise the number, so I have no idea what the number is. Okay. Now basically I'm going to find flat spots. Okay, this doesn't take very long. Okay, there we go, that's it. So in 10 minutes this went from thinking that this was one of the most secure key safes to thinking that it's actually not very secure at all. Cheers.